welcome back to Between the Goalposts. Nate, J5, Andy Reid. We're going to do our analysis of Week 10 and then our Week 11 picks right now. First game we're going to analyze from last week, Saints over Falcons. I got that one right.
I should have gotten it right if Michael Turner could make 1 yard. But it's interesting. Would you have gone for it?
Well, it's a gamble. It's one of those gambit calls. If you get it right, you're a genius and you get praise. You get it wrong.
Well, not necessarily, though, because if you get it right, yeah, you get a new set of downs, but you're still on your own 31, 32, something like that. So you still have to make 2 or 3 more first downs to get in field goal range.
That's true. The prudent decision would have been to punt, but the ESPN statistic analysis people stated that the odds were in his favor, and technically he didn't make the wrong decision. But I don't know. It was a gutsy move. It was the freaking Belichick call of the year.
Yeah, as much as you might trust your defense, it's hard to trust them against Drew Brees.
That, and they didn't even have to run a play if they didn't want to. They were already in the field goal range.
The Falcons?
No, the Saints.
The Saints. You're right.
Goose. Silly goose. The next game we're going to analyze is the 49ers beating the G-Men. How far do you think this Niners team can go?
Well, you know, a few weeks ago I wouldn't have said very far. I've had my expectations low because they've been bad for so long, but I'm starting to feel the kind of magic that's going on down there. And I think if they can continue to press on this season and get that number 2 seed, get the bye, play someone beatable at home in the second round after a week of resting up, then you meet the Packers in the NFC Championship game, anything could happen. Right?
Yeah, that's why they play the game.
Yeah, I mean, NFC Championship would be better than I would have expected by a long shot, so I'm happy either way.
Yeah, indeed. I thought it was a great game. The defense is just lights out whenever they need to be. That was one of the first good offenses they played in a while.
Yeah, and Eli's still playing out of his mind.
Out of his mind. Hakeem Nicks definitely helps the situation. All right. Then the next game, we got Raiders over the Chargers. Who do you think is the best team in the AFC West?
Do I have to? I mean, I'd probably go Raiders right now, just because Carson can only get better in that offense. I mean, I said Denarius Moore was going to be a star before he got there, and apparently he's Carson's favorite option right now. If you listen to Carson talk about the receivers, he has the most praise for Denarius Moore. He says that he can be as good as he wants to be, and that if he puts the work into it, he can be one of the best in the league because he has the talent. So, I mean, the offense is clicking. When they get McFadden back, it'll be even better because Michael Bush is doing fine. And the defense is, you know, spotty and still undisciplined. But, I mean, who else? I mean, the Chargers just cannot get out of their own way.
They never have been able to. They just usually saved it for the playoffs. Now they're just doing it in the regular season, so they don't have the suspense that they usually do.
And it's on all levels, you know, whether it's Rivers dropping the snap or the running back fumbling or Vincent Jackson not looking for the ball or Antonio Gates' foot not healing. Like, it's just one thing after the other.
I wish I could be sad for them, but I'm not, because Phillip Rivers is a douchebag. Moving on. Then we have my favorite game of the week, of course, the Broncos abusing the Chiefs in their own house, which the Broncos don't usually do, especially lately. With 55 runs to 8 passes, slight differentiation in play calling.
Yeah, I mean, not enough credit goes to the Broncos defense, obviously. We definitely have to give them some props. I said that Bailey would lock down Bo, and he did, besides a couple early catches, and Baldwin was a non-factor, and, I mean, the pass rush that they are getting with Miller and Dumerville and DJ on the blitzes, I mean, it's really messing up with their quarterback's rhythms. And it does help when you have an offense like the Chiefs that can't really put points on the board. That allows you to keep the running game going, because this kind of offense will not be able to be sustained if you get down by 14, 17, 20 points.
No. If you're up, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, say we tried this against the Packers. We would have been able to do that for about 3 minutes.
And the Chiefs' defense is more geared towards the pass, with Tom Bahali rushing the passer, Derek Johnson hiding behind blockers before he picks balls off, and Brandon Flowers, I still think he's overrated, but he is mighty opportunistic. So running against the Chiefs is always the better move.
Indeed. And the option play that we negated what Tom Bahali does. He had to decide. He had to take 2 seconds to think about what he had to do before he made a decision. that basically negates a pass rusher's ability to do anything.
And that's why I think even though the speed of NFL defenses is way better than in college, what makes Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed faster than any other safety is not their pure 40 time. It's the noodle. It's the fact that they can see the play coming before anybody else, so they dart to the spot before anyone expects them to. And that's sort of the reverse. What the option is, you can take a defender like Tamba Hali's great speed and totally put cinder blocks around his shoes because he doesn't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it could keep working.
It could. We just got to make sure to stay in the lead. All right, now we're going to go into our Week 11 picks. First game we're going to go over is Tampa Bay at Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers has not beaten the Bucs yet in his young career, and even though the Bucs don't do well when the temperature gets cold, they always give the Packers problems. I picked the Packers to go down last week to the Vikings. Bad move, obviously, but they're not going to go undefeated. I think it's this week.
Well, that is why you play the game, and this could be that upset right here. This could be the upset special of the week. It has all the trappings of a trap game.
But you still picked the Packers.
I did because I like Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be safe. I'm not crazy like him to pick the dang Bucs. All right, the next game we're going to talk about is Cincinnati at Baltimore. We're all on the Baltimore side this week. We just don't think the Bengals have what it takes to do this 2 weeks in a row against two of the best defenses. They're too finesse. But
it needs to be said, the Ravens, what are you doing? I mean, Seahawks, Titans, almost the Cardinals. I mean, this is not the makings of a contender. If you lose to these teams, I mean, I'm teetering on the edge of the bandwagon right now.
Been doing that all season. Yeah. All right, the next game we're talking about is Philly at the Giants. These two, of course, he's on the Eagles. He has no choice. He's contractually obligated. And he's also on the Eagles.
You know, I'm on them for no other reason than I think they're going to win just so that we have to keep talking about them. Because if they lose to the Giants and they go 3-7 and the Giants extend their lead in the division to 7-3, then, you know, the Eagles are dead in the water and we can move on to other topics. But I think the Eagles want to stay in the spotlight. They're going to go to 4-6 just to keep that thought in that, you know, we might run the table, we might get to 10-6, you know. So, and you know, as we saw last year, they can go blow for blow with the Giants until the end.
That's very true. I picked the Giants. Eli's playing out of his mind right now. Then the final game, we're talking about, once again, Jets at Denver. Tomorrow night.
Somebody has to score, I think.
So in theory, that's the job of the offense, but who knows? It's going to be cold in Denver. Been cold the last few nights. Sanchez...
I mean, he's going to have to use Plaxico if they're going to win this game, because I would think that Champ would be draped all over Santonio. And Champ did say on NFL Network today that Santonio has impressed him the most out of the receivers, obviously. So it's going to be about Plaxico and Sean Green since LT is not playing. So if the Jets can run the ball and then use Plaxico in the end zone and just score just enough to stay ahead and make Tebow pass, hopefully at Revis.
I think 17 points might be enough for the Jets.
I think 10 will be enough. But
Ooh, fighting words.
It'll be a quick game. Lots of running.
Lots of running.
I mean, both teams love to pound it.
Might be home before supper, Bronco fans. All right, but that's all we got for the Picks and Analysis segment. Next week we'll do it again.